Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my beautiful fine girls or nice girls? Inshallah, today I'm going to help you understand the lesson about the Umayyads, lesson 2 in unit 2. Let us start now. Of course, last time we talked about how to collect the information about the past. About this lesson, we talked about the evidence that help us to get information about such an era or the period or the time of the Umayyads. Also, we talked about the Umayyads in general, at what time or in which century did the Umayyad Caliphate start and in which century did it end. We said that it started in the middle of the 7th century and ended in the middle of the 8th century. Now we are going to talk in more details about the Umayyad Caliphate. Let us start. The Umayyad clan. Clan here means family. Ruled the Muslim world after the last Rashidun Caliph Ali radiallahu anhu, who was killed in the year 661 AD. We know that the caliphate system started with the Rashidun Caliphs. The Rashidun Caliphs were four: Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Uthman, and Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhum. They were called the Rashidun Caliphs because they ruled the Muslims just after the death of the Prophet, and they were the best companions of Prophet Muhammad. The Rashidun means the wise Caliphs. This Rashidun Caliphate ended in the year 661 when Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib was killed by Ibn Muljam. After Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib was killed, the one who ruled the Muslim as a caliph was Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, and Muawiyah was from the Umayyad family. And that's why he started the Umayyad Caliphate. The Umayyads clan or the Umayyad family was from the same tribe as the Prophet Muhammad's family, the Quraysh tribe we mean. The third Rashidun Caliph Osman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu was also a member of this clan. If you remember when we were studying Sayyidina Osman ibn Affan last year, we said that he introduced the new government system. How when the Muslim state became so large and so big and he could not control it alone, he divided it into 8 provinces, 8 parts, and appointed an emir for each one. Of course, Sayyidina Osman ibn Affan was from the Umayyad family. He chose some of these emirs, of the 8 emirs from the Umayyad family. One of them was Muawiyah. So Muawiyah was appointed by Sayyidina Osman to be the emir of Syria, And after the Sayyidina Ali was killed, he managed to control the whole caliphate and made himself the first Umayyad caliph. The Umayyad Caliphate became the biggest state that the world had ever seen, and the Islam spread to many parts of the world. Look at the map. Can you see this brown color? A good oldest part, Oldest part from Asia, North Africa, and this small brown color is part from Europe. Can you imagine this? So the Umayyad Caliphate covers a big part from Asia, North Africa, and one part from Europe. 3 continents, and that's why we can call it the largest and the biggest empire on earth at that time. What are the countries that were part from this big state or this big empire? The caliphate grew to include places like ignore the old names, just look at between the 2 brackets to understand it. It contained Pakistan and India. Oh my God, so Pakistan and India, the whole of Pakistan and the whole of India were part of our Muslim state. Also, Portugal and Spain. Here, Portugal and Spain. And of course, you know what is Portugal and Spain? They are 2 countries in Europe. Yeah, they were part from the Umayyad Caliphate. The islands of Rhodes and Crete. 2 islands in the Mediterranean Sea in Greece. They were part from the Middle East, from the Caliphate, Umayyad Caliphate. Morocco, Algeria, and North Africa. And the areas in Central Asia. Areas in Central Asia here, the middle of Asia. So a big part from Asia, or the whole of North Africa, and the 2 countries from Europe, beside the Arabian Peninsula. That was Umayyad Caliphate. It was the biggest empire on earth at that time. It started in the year 661 when Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib was killed, and ended in 750 AD when the Abbasids came to power. The Abbasids, another family who made another caliphate. So the Umayyad Caliphate continued for about 100 years or a whole century. Let us move to the next page. What about the capital? At the time of the Rashidun Caliphs and when the Prophet was alive, Al-Madinah al-Munawwara was the capital of the Muslim state. But the Umayyads moved the capital city to Damascus. Damascus is the capital city of Syria, by the way. Again, the capital city of Damascus. The capital city of Damascus, the capital city of Syria is Damascus. Because Muawiyah, the one who started the Umayyad Caliphate, was the Emir of Syria, he moved the capital city from Medina to Damascus in Syria. There, the Umayyads, they built buildings such as the Great Umayyad Mosque of Damascus, which is still used today. Today, the old city of Damascus is a World Heritage Site. Why? Because of all the important old buildings in the city. But what about the people who lived in this big empire or in the Umayyad Caliphate that contained Portugal, Spain, India, Pakistan, Algeria, Morocco, the whole of North Africa, and some parts in the central of Asia? Were all the Muslims in this very big country, all of them were Muslims? Of course not. The people who lived in Damascus and the Caliphate were not all Muslims. In fact, the majority of them were from other religions. The majority means most of them were from other religions. Not all the people on this big caliphate were Muslims, and the caliphs or the Muslims who ruled them did not force the people there to change their religions and be Muslims. No, they protected their freedom to be Muslims or stay like what they were, and also they gave them the freedom to practice the religion. You understand? So the Muslims did not force the people to be Muslims, and they respect their desire to stay or to accept other religions. Okay, that was about the people who lived in this big empire, and when did it end, when did it start, and where was its new capital. Let us talk about the Umayyad Caliphs themselves. But before I start, the Rashidun Caliphs were four. Again, the Rashidun Caliphs were four. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anh, the first one. The second one, Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anh. The third one, Sayyidina Osman ibn Affan radiallahu anh. And the last or the fourth one, Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anh. The four caliphs were not did not take the power or the position of the caliph on their own. No, they were elected. They were chosen by other people. Each of them was elected or chosen by other people. He did not take the position of the caliph on his own. So election or the choice of the other people was the way how the Rashidun Caliphs or the four of them became caliphs. But the Umayyad Caliphs were different. They were not elected. They inherited the position of the caliph. And what's the meaning of inherit? Inherit means to receive something from someone who has died. And inherit mainly between the people of the same family. When the grandfather died, his son or the father inherit whatever he owns, and after the father died, the son inherit whatever the father owns, and so on. Exactly like the royal family. When the king dies, his son or his brother becomes king, and so on. This is how the Umayyad Caliphate became caliphs. They were not elected like the Rashidun Caliphs. No, they were they inherited the position of the caliph. And let us talk about this. The first four caliphs of the Rashidun Caliphate were elected as leaders of the Muslim people. This is how the Rashidun Caliphs, who were four, how did they become caliphs? During the Umayyad Caliphate, caliphs were not elected. So how they were appointed? The new caliphs inherited the roles from the other fathers, from their fathers or uncles. So the caliphs came from the same family. All the Umayyad Caliphate that continued for about 1 century or 100 years, they were one family, either fathers and their brothers, fathers and their sons, or the uncles. How many were they? They were 14 different caliphs. So the Rashidun caliphs were 4, but the Umayyad caliphs were 14. The 14 of them came from two main families from the same Umayyad family. The Umayyad family is the main family. From the Umayyad family, there were two sons. The first one, the son who was Muawiyah the first, and Marwan the first. Muawiyah and his sons, and Marwan and his sons, and can you see how they were one family? When one of them dies, his brother or his son become the next caliph. When one died, his son or his brother become the second or the next caliph, and so on. So the 14 caliphs of the Umayyad caliphs came from two main families. The Marwan the first family were called the Marwanids. The family of the Marwan the first were called the Marwanids, and the family of Muawiyah the first were called the Sufyanids. Why? Because Muawiyah was the son of Abu Sufyan, and Abu Sufyan was the son of Harb, and the Harb was one of the son of Umayyah, the great grandfather. You understand? So the 14 caliphs of the Umayyad Caliphate came from the same family, the Umayyah. Mainly from the two main families of it. What are the two main families of it? The Marwanids here, and the Sufyanids here. The Sufyanids, this branch, and the Marwanids, this branch. And this is a family tree that can show us the Rashidun caliphs. Let us count them. The first one who ruled after the death of Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib in 661 and started the Umayyad Caliphate was Muawiyah the first ibn Sufyan, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, he was the Emir of Syria, and he was appointed by Sayyidina Osman ibn Affan. Okay, the next one after Muawiyah died, his son Yazid ibn Muawiyah. After Yazid ibn Muawiyah died, his brother Muawiyah the second ibn Yazid, the son of Yazid. Next, Marwan ibn al-Hakam, their uncle. After Marwan ibn al-Hakam, Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan, his son. After Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan, Al-Walid ibn Abd al-Malik, the son of this one, and this one was the son of this one. After Al-Walid ibn Abd al-Malik died, came Sulaiman ibn Abd al-Malik. You understand? His brother. So these were the first 7 of them. Okay, and we said how many they were? They were 14. Here is 7. Let us talk about the other 7 Umayyad caliphs. The next one. Yazid ibn Abd al-Malik, after he died. No, this one first. Umar ibn Abd al-Aziz. Do you know, girls, this name is very important. Umar ibn Abd al-Aziz. Some people name him the 5th Rashidun Caliph. Although there were another 7 caliphs from the Umayyad before him, some people call him the 5th Rashidun Caliph just after Sayyidina Ali. Why? Because he ruled in the same way like the Rashidun Caliphs. And he was very respected, much respected by all the people. And he was a good example for them. After he died, came Yazid II ibn Abd al-Malik. After Yazid died, came Hisham ibn Abd al-Malik. Then Al-Walid ibn Yazid II. Then Yazid III ibn al-Walid. Okay, in the same year, Ibrahim ibn al-Walid. And then the last one, Marwan II ibn Muhammad. That was the last Umayyad Caliph, because when at his time he just ruled for 6 years. Then the Umayyad Caliphate came to an end after 6 years from the rule of Marwan ibn Muhammad. So the first one was Muawiyah, and the last one of them was Marwan II ibn Muhammad. He just ruled for 6 years and the Umayyad Caliphate ended. What about this timeline? Is it helpful to show us the caliphs and how many years for each one? Yeah. The last 7 caliphs were all descended from the Marwan I. We said that the caliphs of the Umayyad family or the Umayyad Caliphate came from 2 main families, the Marwanids and the Sufyanids. The last 7 of them were from Marwan II, the son of the brother of Muawiyah. They ruled until the year 750 when Marwan II and his family were killed. So when Marwan II and his family were killed, the Abbasids came or became the new caliphs. But one of the Umayyad Abdurrahman escaped to Al-Andalus, the last one from the family, escaped to Al-Andalus, and later a new caliphate was created in Europe. When that one escaped to Europe, Portugal and Spain, he started another caliphate in Europe away from the Abbasids here. So the last one who ruled for 6 years, he was killed. He and his family were killed. And then the Abbasids came to be the new caliphs and started a new caliphate called the Abbasid Caliphate. Two, here, look at the family tree of the last 7 caliphs. Most of them were sons or grandsons of Abd al-Malik. Okay, away from asking each other. I think you understand now about the Umayyad caliphs. Inshallah, in the coming lesson, by the way, it can be the last lesson in our social syllabus distribution or curriculum. You should know from this lesson very well how the Rashidun caliphs were different from the Umayyad caliphs. They were 4, but the Umayyads were 14. The Rashidun caliphs were elected by other people or chosen by other people, but the Umayyads inherited the position of the caliph as one family. And of course, you know, the first one of them and the last one of them. I hope you understand the lesson well. And goodbye till we meet again. Thank you, my beautiful dear girls.